Look at what is occurring outside the window. Miss Belle pum polka-dotted balloon against a clear blue sky. Full of overripe apples waiting on our kitchen counter. Before we dive into the quirky world of our curdled milk and rotten apple jam muffins, let's take a moment to peer outside our kitchen window. What's this? It's our beloved neighbourhood baker, floating away on an enormous balloon. The sight is as whimsical as it is startling. Miss Belle pum, in her traditional apron and chef's hat, clutching onto a polka-dotted balloon against a clear blue sky. The balloon bobs gently in the breeze as it carries her further and further away from her beloved bakery. The town below, a colourful patchwork of rooftops and gardens, grows smaller with each passing second. As the balloon drifts away, we can't help but wonder, where this airborne adventure taking Miss Belle pum? What will become of her bakery in her absence? And most importantly, will she return in time to taste our unusual muffins? The sight is so captivating, it's easy to forget the bowl of overripe apples waiting on our kitchen counter. But fear not, dear listeners. While we keep an eye on Miss Belle pum's balloon adventure, we'll also embark on our own culinary journey. So buckle up, put on your aprons, and let's dive into the world of curdled milk and rotten apple jam muffins. Stay tuned, for an adventure in gastronomy awaits. Have you ever imagined how an unusual recipe like curdled cider vinegar will transform into a jam that's butter or oil and a hint of vanilla extract? So, gather your ingredients, put on your apron, and get ready and completely delightful. Let's start with the rotten apple jam. Now don't let the name put you off. We're using overripe apples, the kind that's soft, bruised, and has a mouldy part or two. These apples, when mashed and combined with brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, ground ginger, and a dash of lemon juice, water, and apple cider vinegar, will transform into a jam that's sweet, tangy, and spicy all at once. Now, for the muffins. The key ingredient here is curdled milk. Yes, you heard that right. We're using milk that's sour and smelly. But if the idea is too much for you, you can recreate the effect by mixing a cup of milk with a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice and letting it sit for 10 minutes. This curdled milk, when mixed with all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, brown sugar, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, a large egg, melted butter or oil, and a hint of vanilla extract, will create a muffin batter that's fluffy, moist, and packed with flavour. And then the magic happens. The muffin batter is filled halfway into the muffin cups. A dollop of our rotten apple jam is spooned into the centre, and the muffins are baked to perfection. The result? A muffin that's a perfect balance of sweet and sour, soft and crunchy, familiar and exotic. A muffin that's a testament to the beauty of culinary creativity, an adventure in every bite. So, gather your ingredients, put on your apron, and get ready to step into a world of gastronomy that's a little bit different, a little bit daring, and a whole lot of delicious. Now let's dive into this whimsical adventure of creating curdled milk and rotten apple jam muffins. As we prepare our ingredients, allow me to introduce you to our mother of three delightful children. Zoe, with her Castelia and D. Bell Company, crafting this narrative, as the bubbles in your favourite soda, and as enthralling as a riveting book on a drizzly day. With her balloon, Miss Belle pum often graces the skies, sketching an image of nostalgic charm that is simply irresistible. Every queen requires a court, and Miss Belle pum's court is one of a kind. Meet her sister, Hauve, a being made of candy floss and the mother of three delightful children. Zoe, with her short yellow pigtails, is a flossy delight, just as round and made of candy floss as her mother. Her sibling, Pole, the male polar bear, brings an element of wilderness to the court, whereas Nuddles, the youngest and a female golden bear, is as endearing as a button. But every tale needs a villain, and ours is no exception. Meet Horse MgGorse, the goody two-shoes, Miss Belle pum's arch-nemesis. In our eyes, those of Jane Fitzcastelia and D. Bell Company crafting this narrative, he's the villain, always attempting to depict us as mischievous and outrageous. With these delightful characters set in your mind, let's dive into the making of our extraordinary muffins. After all, our queen, Miss Belle pum, would want nothing less. Let's take a break from our kitchen endeavours and immerse ourselves in wilderness to the court. His icy blue eyes comes charm and warmth. Now, let's remember her sister Hauve, made entirely of candy floss? Just imagine her, as round and fluffy as a cloud, with her brood of three unique children. Firstly, we have Zoe, a flossy delight with short yellow pigtails. She is as round as her mother, their resemblance uncanny, like two peas in a pod. Then there's Pole, the male polar bear, who adds a dash of wilderness to the court. His icy blue eyes are captivating, and his playful antics never fail to entertain. Lastly, we meet Nuddles, the youngest and a female golden bear. Her endearing charm and button-like cuteness make her an instant favourite. However, every tale has its villain, and in ours, it's horse MgGorse. This goody two-shoes is always trying to paint us as mischievous and outrageous, but in the eyes of Jane Fitzcastelia and D. Bell Company, he is nothing but a villain, a contrast to Miss Bell Pum's charm and warmth. Now, let's whisk you away to a day when a poor little boy tried to warn Miss Bell Pum about an imminent danger. The ensuing chaos was a riot of laughter and amusement, a spectacle that left a deep imprint on the citizens of this quaint town. But more on that later. For now, let's return to the warmth of our kitchen and the creation of our extraordinary muffins. Now sit back and let us divert your attention to a hilarious place, adding to the chaotic scenario. Miss Bell Pum on the streets. In a haste, he attempted to hail her down, warning her about a rampaging cow rapidly approaching from behind. To ease his panic, she offered him 2 chilled glasses of orange juice. Bravely, he gulped down the first glass, only to regurgitate it immediately in an explosion of gut-wrenching discomfort. His cries of "Ooh, and he echoed through the street. In an amusing turn of events, Miss Bell Pum attempted to carry the boy up the street, but due to her petite stature, she ended up wheeling him in a wheelbarrow in a scene straight out of a slapstick comedy. However, the hilarity didn't end there. An elderly gentleman by the name of Thomas McVomit, as his name suggests, joined the spectacle, only to end up vomiting all over the place, adding to the chaotic scenario. This unexpected event led to Miss Bell Pum hastily retreating with her balloon, a giggle escaping her as she accidentally let a fart. Quite the unexpected twist in the tale, eh? It's incidents like these that add colour to our journey, just like our rotten apple jam adds a twist to our muffins. Our story adds a twist to the ordinary, making every bite a taste of enchantment. Now that our jam is ready, it's time to prepare the muffin batter. She lines a muffin tin with paper liners, her hands moving with... Gradually, she combines the wet ingredients into the dry. Her thoughts are interrupted by the timer. The air, a sweet and spicy aroma that's as comforting as a warm blanket on a cold night. But we're not here for the jam, are we? We're here for the muffins. And Miss Bell Pum, our queen, knows just how to make them. In the heart of her kitchen, she preheats her oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. She lines a muffin tin with paper liners, her hands moving with practiced ease. Now, the dry ingredients. Miss Bell Pum takes a large bowl and into it, she whisks together all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, brown sugar, baking soda, salt, and a touch of cinnamon. In another bowl, she cracks an egg, adding melted butter, vanilla, and that curdled milk that's been sitting on her counter. She whisks it all together, the mixture turning into a creamy liquid that's as smooth as silk. Then comes the magic. Gradually, she combines the wet ingredients into the dry, stirring until just combined. She's careful not to overmix, for she knows that the secret to fluffy muffins lies in a light hand. As she stirs the batter, her thoughts drift to her sister Hauve and her children. She thinks of Pole, the male polar bear, and Nuddles, the golden bear. She thinks of Zoe, made of candy floss, and their mother, Hauve, who is also round and made of candy floss. She wonders what they would think of these muffins. But then, her thoughts are interrupted by the timer. The oven is ready, and so is her muffin batter. With our batter ready, we're all set to assemble our muffins. From the warm and comforting kitchen of Mrs. Bell Pum, the male polar bear was particularly enthusiastic. His cool demeanor sick, and the evening took a humorous, albeit good fun. The grand finale at the farting welcomed her 79 friends with a warm smile. The place was buzzing with laughter and chatter, the atmosphere made even more vibrant with the presence of Pole, Nuddles, Zoe, Bert and Molly. These endearing characters, working part-time, added to the charm of the evening. Pole, the male polar bear, was particularly enthusiastic, his cool demeanour warmed by the lively atmosphere. But as he was serving drinks, an unexpected twist occurred. He accidentally knocked over a wine bottle while zipping around on his roller skates. The laughter grew louder, but the party went on. Miss Bell Pum, feeling a bit tipsy from the merriment, continued her hostess duties, preparing and serving delicious meals. But amidst the laughter, the unexpected happened. Some guests, due to overindulgence, became sick, and the evening took a humorous, albeit slightly unpleasant, turn. As this was unfolding, Horse MgGorse, Ms. Bell Pum's arch-enemy, made his grand entrance. His presence stirred up a mix of emotions in our hostess, but she had a plan. She invited some farm animals, including 5 pigs, to join the party. What followed next was a series of hilarious and somewhat gross events that will make you laugh, cringe, and everything in between. But remember, this is all in good fun. The grand finale at the Farting Cow will certainly be an evening to remember. From the bustling pub scene, we now segue into what the ever-vigilant Ms. Bell Pum was at that quick-witted Ms. Bell Pum, a woman of wit and smile on her lips. She began her plot. The pièce de résistance, plates laden with what looked like a pug smile wiped off, watched in horror. Aware of the storm that was about to unfold, they raised their glasses in joyous toasts. As the evening progressed, the door of the pub swung open, announcing the arrival of a new guest. Our hostess, the ever-vigilant Ms. Bell Pum, was at that time busy serving the delicious dinners she had prepared with utmost care. Her eyes, sharp and watchful, caught sight of the new entrant. It was none other than the notorious Horse MgGorse. His grand entrance, marked by a smug smile and an air of condescension, was enough to ignite a spark of indignation in her. His pompous demeanour, his haughty laugh, and his arrogant walk were all like a punch to her gut. But our quick-witted Ms. Bell Pum, a woman of wit and strength, was far from being intimidated. She was not one to back down without a fight. A cunning plan began to take shape in her mind, a plan for a sweet and fitting revenge. She decided to enlist the help of her trusted companions, her farm animal friends. Among them were the 5 pigs she had previously invited to the pub. These pigs, known for their mischievous nature, were the perfect accomplices for her ingenious plan. With a twinkle of mischief in her eyes and an impish smile on her lips, she began her plot. The pigs, under her watchful eyes, were requested to add their special ingredient into the evening's menu. A large pot was brought out, and the pigs, gleefully oblivious to the plan, added their unique contribution. The soup, now bearing the distinct flavour of the pig's special ingredient, was served. Drinks followed, poured into glasses in a most peculiar manner, adding to the unconventional menu of the evening. And for dessert, the pièce de résistance, plates laden with what looked like a creamy, delectable chocolate pudding. However, it was far from the sweet delicacy it appeared to be. The guests, their senses dulled from their earlier indulgence, began to savour the unique menu. The reactions were immediate, intense, and quite explosive. Gasps of shock echoed through the pub, morphing into sounds of disgust. The once lively pub was now filled with a cacophony that was both shocking and oddly satisfying. Horse MgGorse, his smug smile wiped off, watched in horror. His earlier arrogance was replaced by an expression of pure dread. He was the target of Ms. Bell Pum's revenge, and the reality had just dawned upon Bell Pum, holding her cat in one hand and a pair of knickers in the other, chased the horrified Horse MgGorse out of the pub. The scene was one of chaos, hilarity, and sweet revenge. The joyous pub was now a playground of karma. The evening was indeed a memorable one, with Miss Bell Pum proving once and for all that she was not one to be trifled with. The stage is set and our actors are ready. It's time that promises a delightful treat. Now let's get atmosphere. But then in walked Horse MgGorse, so unique. That's the magic paired. Then we spoon a small dollop of our rotten apple jam in the centre, a hidden gem in our muffins. Into the oven they go, baking at a toasty 200 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. As they bake, the aroma fills the air, a sweet and comforting scent that promises a delightful treat. Now let's get back to our tale. Remember our queen, Ms. Bell Pum? Well, she was hosting at the local pub, the Farting Cow. She had invited 79 friends, and the place was bustling with chatter and laughter. Pole, Nuddles, Zoe, Pole's friend Bert, and Zoe's friend Molly were all there, helping serve as they worked part-time on some evenings. Pole, the male polar bear, was especially enthusiastic, his usually cool demeanour warmed by the lively atmosphere. But then in walked Horse MgGorse, Ms. Bell Pum's arch-enemy, his smug smile in sharp contrast to the friendly faces in the room. He was always trying to paint Ms. Bell Pum and her friends as mischievous and outrageous. But our queen, Ms. Bell Pum, she didn't let him ruin the evening. She held her ground, her smile never wavering. She even offered him a muffin, one of our curdled milk and rotten apple jam muffins. He took a bite, and his smug smile faded. He didn't expect it to taste so delicious, so unique. That's the magic of Miss Bell Pum, and that's the magic of these muffins. And there we have it, our curdled milk and rotten apple jam muffins, a recipe as unusual and delightful as the tale of Miss Bell Pum. The muffins are a testament to the spirit of adventure, of making the best out of what we have, just like our beloved Miss Bell Pum. So the next time you find yourself with overripe apples and curdled milk, remember this recipe and the story that comes with it. Enjoy.